Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT Radio Thailand FM 88 and on NBT World. It's a Thursday and the date is July 23rd, and you're with me, Sandra Han Utsaha. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has voiced readiness to organize the Bike for Mom campaign, saying a rehearsal of the activity will be held for the cabinet ministers this July 28th. After chairing a meeting of the committee responsible for facilitating the Bike for Mom event, Prime Minister Prayut affirmed that much progress has already been made. He said he would like to see the event run smoothly, as it is intended to give the public an opportunity to unite and pay tribute to Her Majesty Queen Sirikit on her 83rd birthday this year. Moreover, it is hoped to strengthen the people's love for their mothers, while concurrently promoting exercising and environmental conservation. Personally, the Premier has set a goal to complete all 43 kilometers of biking in the Bike for Mom event in Bangkok. He added that after the cabinet meeting on July 28th, he will lead all ministers in rehearsing the activity before it officially takes place on August 16th. However, he has not decided whether the rehearsal will be conducted only within Government House or around the compound as well. In addition, General Prayut stated that bottled water under the Bike for Mom label has been received from His Royal Highness Crown Prince Maha Vajiralongkorn. With His Royal Highness's grave concern for drought-affected people, the government will promptly distribute the drinking water to those in need. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha says his government will carry on with its crackdown on human trafficking, regardless of how the U.S. rates the country's concerted effort to end the scourge. Speaking about the U.S. State Department's annual ranking of global counter-trafficking efforts set for July 27th, General Prayut commented his government will not be despondent if the U.S. maintains a low ranking of the country's performance, nor will it be overjoyed if its world ranking improves. The U.S. last year lowered Thailand to its Tier 3 list of worst offenders, along with 22 countries. The rating prompted the government to vow to spare no effort in addressing the deep-rooted problems. High-profile operations included the exposing of a human trafficking network in the south and the registration and licensing of fishing boats to solve the problem of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, or IUU. General Prayut confirmed that with or without an improved U.S. human rights rating, his government will still try its best to eradicate all forms of human abuse in a systematic manner, however complex the problems are. China's top political advisor has met with Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha during a visit to Thailand as the guest of the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA. The chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, Yu Zhengsheng, was greeted by members of the National Legislative Assembly and the Royal Thai Air Force's commander at Don Mueang International Airport. Mr. Yu then paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha at Government House. General Prayut expressed his appreciation for the long-standing ties between the legislative bodies of the two countries and also thanked China for its understanding of Thailand's political situation. The prominent Chinese political advisor meanwhile gave an assurance that the Uyghurs repatriated to China by the Thai government are being treated justly under the principles of human rights. The Thai government had earlier sent 109 Uyghurs back to China at the request of Beijing. The chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference is scheduled to visit Thailand and Indonesia from July 21st to 28th at the invitation of Thailand's National Legislative Assembly and the People's Consultative Assembly of Indonesia. The National Water Resources Committee has agreed to reduce the water consumption of state agencies by 10%. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha presided over the committee meeting, which focused on tackling drought and flooding next year. The committee was told that the number of wells and reservoirs had been built in accordance with last year's National Water Management Master Plan. 2 subcommittees are also being set up to regulate the use of water and secure water supplies. The new teams are expected to streamline existing work on water-related issues. State agencies nationwide have been instructed to cut down water use by 10%, effective from Wednesday onwards. The industrial and agricultural sectors have also been urged to help conserve water during the drought crisis. Director General of the Department of Water Resources, Jatuphon Burutpat, has urged Thai people to save water by 1 liter a day to reserve water for future use. The Director General said it was time for everyone to realize the importance of water resources due to the worsening drought and water shortage this year. The changing global weather was another factor contributing to a change in rainfall pattern. He therefore called on people, especially those in Bangkok and the vicinity, to save water and consume water wisely. If each person used less water by 1 liter per day, 60 million liters of water would be saved nationwide. Bangkok and the vicinity use 4 to 5 million cubic meters of water per day. Businesses, government units, and entrepreneurs use water the most. Households' use is around 49% of water, and Thai people nationwide use 200 to 250 liters per person per day. The Director General added that the tourism sector and business entrepreneurs needed to urgently find measures to save water and reduce their water consumption. The agricultural sector should stop planting off-season rice, postponing their in-season rice cultivation, and growing drought-resistant crops instead of rain-fed ones. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Krangam has presided over the opening ceremony of the Center for Facilitation for Consideration of Approvals from the government to help people receive government services within the scheduled time. The opening ceremony took place at the office of the Civil Service Commission on Pisnulok Road. The center also gives clear information about approvals from the government and handles complaints about delay in government services. The center opens every day except on official holidays from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Civil Service Commission's office on Pisnulok Road. The public can also contact the center via its hotline, which is 1111, extension 22. The center was set up after the government approved the Draft Act on Facilitation for Consideration of Approvals from the government agencies. The Draft Act is aimed at facilitating people who receive government services and ensuring transparency in the service process by decreasing government officers' use of discretion. The Ministry of Commerce is re-examining the government's stockpile of low-quality rice before releasing it to the industrial sector. Ms. Jintana Chaiwanakan, chairperson of the Public Warehouse Organization, or PWO, led concerned officials and press members to conduct another inspection of the rice stock at a warehouse in Klong Samwa district of Bangkok. The objective of the inspection was to collect samples of rice grains in order for them to be rechecked on quality and grade prior to the bidding process. It was found that the warehouse was containing 8,911 tons of off-season white rice from the 2012 crop year. Of the total, 1,430 tons have so far been confirmed to be in deteriorated condition. Ms. Jintana said such an inspection is being carried out constantly on a random basis. She expected all findings to be concluded within this week, after which they will be reported to the Commerce Ministry. Meanwhile, Commerce Minister General Chatay Salikanya disclosed that bidding conditions will be announced next week for 400,000 to 500,000 tons of good quality rice. Another 1.29 million tons of substandard rice will also be offered to the industrial sector, and there will be a follow-up inspection to ensure that the low-quality grains are not resold to the general market for consumption. The Committee on Handling the Sinking of Bangkok's Land has established a committee on handling rising sea levels and subsidence. The committee presented a report to the National Reform Council, or NRC, in order to be incorporated into the National Reform Agenda. The committee's chairman has said the main cause of the sinking of the Bangkok Metropolitan is due to the increased use of groundwater for consumption beyond the capabilities of renewable natural resources. This sinking phenomenon is also due to increased weight from the urban sprawl. At the rate of the current expansion of the city, as well as changes in climate conditions that have resulted in the lifting of the sea levels, the Bangkok metropolitan area is currently facing moderate risk and would be able to cope with changes if a plan of action is implemented immediately. Therefore, the committee called for the policy of preserving Bangkok from sinking be included as part of the national strategy in the draft constitution. Legislators should also improve relevant laws and regulations, including increased penalties and adequate urban planning to the same standard. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a quick break, but first here's a look at the exchange rates and the commodity prices.
Maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 11th core value: keeping physical and mental strength, unyielding to evil powers or desires, having a sense of shame over guilt and sins in accordance with religious principles.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough. We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
This is Thailand at large.
The show which is about to take you to the new experiences with the exciting stories.
With charming fascination. With a touch of Thainess.
Let's join us on NBT World.
Explore with us and you'll know and love Thailand even more than before.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. As we approach the ASEAN economic integration, the 10 member countries of ASEAN are working hard to maximize the international appeal of their famous destinations. And NBT World reporter Panut Sisensap went to Cambodia to see how the beach resort town of Sihanoukville is shaping up to become a world-class hotspot.
This is Sihanoukville, known locally as Kompong Som. It's a coastal city in Cambodia, located at the tip of an elevated peninsula in the southwest region of Cambodia, situated right along the Gulf of Thailand. The beautiful beaches are uninterrupted, and it's been popular for travelers for some time, but perhaps not as famous as the beaches in Thailand. But in recent years, there has been some development that has helped to attract an expanding portion of Asia's travelers, especially young students and backpackers. Sihanoukville beaches offer beautiful turquoise waters with soft sandy beaches that are well preserved by the public and businesses here, which has helped the coast retain its natural beauty.
This is Ochatil Beach, the most popular beach of Sihanoukville, where over 1.3 million visitors come here every single year, and the number are increasing.
The city has been also developing its infrastructure and facilities, and as Cambodia has continued to become ever more prominent, the Cambodian government is making adjustments to accommodate both tourists and business arrivals. Mr. Noon Supal, director of the Provincial Department of Tourism, said that in 2014, the number of foreign travelers to Sihanoukville on vacation also went up 31%. It is expected that the number of visitors will continue to increase in 2015. In order to ensure that the number of visitors to the province continues to grow, the country has a strategic plan to promote Cambodia tourism to the world, where tour packages and producing television commercials that will air globally on a variety of television channels. Besides publicizing the country's attractions, the government also follows a policy of keeping the resort city and its beaches clean by providing guidelines to local businesses and the public to follow. The provincial director of the Department of Culture and Fine Arts, Mr. Detno, added that there are a lot of cultural and natural attractions, besides many recreational things to do once you arrive here in Sihanoukville, Cambodia. The province is also developing an industrial zone. To learn more about the preparations the city is making to make it an integrated commercial and resort town, please tune in to tomorrow's news broadcast at this time here on NBT World, where we will show excerpts from an interview I had with the mayor of Sihanoukville. For NBT World, I'm Panut Sisensap, Sihanoukville, Cambodia.
In our global stories, minor clashes erupted on Wednesday between police and protesters outside the Greek parliament in an anti-austerity protest as lawmakers begin to debate the austerity package demanded by the EU, as a condition for beginning talks on a new bailout deal. Greek Finance Minister Euclid Tsakalotos urged lawmakers to vote in favor of the measures, saying that they would help Greek depositors feel more secure about their savings. A first set of reforms that focused largely on tax hikes and budget discipline triggered a rebellion in Syriza last week and passed only thanks to votes from pro-EU opposition parties. The bill lawmakers will vote on early Thursday, covering rules for the dealing with failed banks and speeding up of the justice system. Two more conditions set by the Eurozone and the IMF to open negotiations on an €86 billion rescue loan. The legislation is all but certain to pass after pro-European opposition parties said they would back it. The white man charged in South Carolina with killing 9 blacks at a Charleston church faces federal hate crimes and firearms charges that could lead to the death penalty or a life in prison, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch said on Wednesday. A federal grand jury in South Carolina returned a 33-count indictment against Dylan Roof, accused of a deadly shooting spree during Bible study at a historic black church last month that killed 9 people, Lynch said. No decision has been made on whether the federal government will seek the death penalty if Roof is convicted, she said. Following the massacre, a website linked to Roof surfaced containing a racist manifesto, showing him in photos posing with a Confederate flag, viewed by many as a symbol of racism. Lynch noted that Roof had singled out the nearly 200-year-old Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church because of its historical significance in the African American community, and she said he had been planning the attack for several months. France announced measures worth up to €1.1 billion on Wednesday to support its livestock farmers and try to halt protests which have escalated in recent days into road blockades in the northwest. President François Hollande had on Tuesday promised a plan to help struggling cattle, pork and dairy producers suffering from low prices, tough competition, and a squeeze on margins by food processors and retailers. Frank Agriculture Minister Stéphane Le Foll who has said about 10% of livestock farmers were on the brink of bankruptcy, detailed 24 measures mainly aimed at easing struggling farmers' cash flow. The package offers up to €600 million worth of tax exemptions and delayed payments that would cost the French Treasury about €100 million. In addition, the state would guarantee up to €500 million worth of loans for producers through its public investment bank, mainly to reimburse debts to suppliers. That would cost the government another €100 million. And to combat obesity, which Mexico City has declared a public health priority, lawmakers have introduced a measure to promote exercise and healthy eating by giving free metro rides if passengers perform 10 squats. Quickly catching up with its neighbor, the U.S., Mexico is ranked second in the world in having the highest rate of obesity. The government estimates that some 37 million people qualify as obese. The campaign, which was organized by Mexico City's health ministry and began on July 15th, aims to give away 50,000 tickets to users who do squats at 30 so-called health stations and 21 Metrobus stations. The campaign aims to encourage people to be physically active and help to reduce rates of obesity. Stress balls, Pedimeters and condoms are also being given away. According to a news release, Mexico City officials reported that to date, 73,947 users have made more than 750,000 squats. So far, 60,985 pedimeters have been given away. And that is it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, and you can check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're going to say goodbye today with Hellebrunn Zoo in Munich, showing off the latest addition to one of its monkey families, Pinto, a baby drill monkey who is now almost a month old. Have a great day. I'm Sandra Hanud Saha for Newsline. Sawasdee ka.